What if I told you the omega-3 that can matter most for your brain isn't the trendy fish oil softgel everyone has in their kitchen cabinet? Because for more than 200 years, doctors leaned on a very different kind of omega-3, one that showed up in old clinics, old ships, and old medical textbooks like a quiet, oily secret. If you could step back into a doctor's office in the early 1900s, you'd smell it before you saw it. Not antiseptic, not antibiotics, those didn't dominate yet. You'd smell something faintly marine, like a dock at low tide. And on the shelf, right beside the tonics and tinctures, you'd find it, cod liver oil. It was used historically as a nutritive remedy when medicine had fewer weapons, during eras when infections, poor nutrition, and vitamin deficiencies could turn ordinary life into a survival test. People associated it with recovery, resilience, and especially children's bone health back when rickets was common. The details of why were a mystery then. The results were what people noticed. And here's the twist. Cod liver oil isn't just fish oil. It's a fish-derived oil, yes, but it's a liver oil, and that changes the whole package. Most modern fish oil is primarily about omega-3 fats, EPA, and DHA, often refined and concentrated. Cod liver oil contains omega-3s too, but it also naturally carries fat-soluble vitamins, especially vitamin A and vitamin D, because the liver is where animals store those nutrients. So if we're talking about something that might rebuild your brain, we should be precise. The goal isn't magic. The goal is structural support, giving your brain and nervous system the raw materials they actually use to maintain membranes, signaling, vision, and energy production. First, the omega-3 ratio can be the key. Your brain isn't just a lump of gray matter, it's a living electrical city. Billions of neurons wrapped in membranes that control what gets in, what gets out, and how signals travel. A key fat in those membranes is DHA. DHA isn't merely anti-inflammatory. It's structural. It's part of the architecture. Think of it like flexible insulation around wiring. Without the right materials, the system still exists, but it's less efficient, more fragile, and more prone to glitches. Many processed fish oils on shelves tend to be heavier in EPA relative to DHA, and EPA can be great for inflammation signaling, but DHA is the one especially tied to brain and retina structure. Cod liver oil provides both, and in many traditional formulations, it's a meaningful DHA source, which is one reason people associate it with brain, eye, and nervous system support. Second, there may be X-factor compounds in cod liver oil that standard fish oil doesn't emphasize. Some marine liver oils contain alkylglycerols, compounds that are naturally present in the body, including in bone marrow, and also appear in human milk. They've been studied for potential roles in immune modulation, helping the immune system respond appropriately, rather than just pushing it to be more aggressive. Do we have perfect proof that these compounds explain every historical use of cod liver oil? No, but it helps explain why old-school doctors and nurses saw it as more than just oil. It was a whole biological package. Third, there's the hidden opponent most people never talk about: seed oils and omega-6 overload. Omega-3 and omega-6 fats compete inside the body. Omega-6 isn't evil, you need some, but modern diets can drown the system in it, especially from industrial seed oils. And these fats don't just get burned off. A portion gets built into your cell membranes, including the membranes in your brain, retina, and mitochondria. Membranes don't reset overnight either. Fatty acid composition can shift slowly over months to years. That matters because when DHA is low and omega-6 is high, the body may use backup fats in membranes. In animal research, omega-6 derivatives can partially substitute, but they don't replicate DHA's full functional profile. So the deeper story isn't only take cod liver oil, it's many people don't get enough omega-3, and at the same time they get too much omega-6 that crowds the space where omega-3 would otherwise be incorporated. If you want a more objective look at what's happening, you can talk with a clinician about tests like an omega-3 index measured in red blood cells, and sometimes markers reflecting linoleic acid levels in RBC membranes, because numbers won't solve everything, but they can replace guesswork with something measurable. Fourth, cod liver oil connects to energy in a way people feel fast, and it comes down to mitochondria, your cellular power plants. You can eat enough calories and still feel like you're running on low power because mitochondrial efficiency depends on membrane quality. A mitochondrial lipid often discussed is cardiolipin. When membranes degrade under oxidative stress or poor lipid balance, the battery can feel leaky. Less efficient energy output, more fatigue, slower recovery. DHA isn't cardiolipin itself, but DHA supports membrane quality, and membrane quality supports mitochondrial performance. In plain English, the right fats help the machinery run smoother. Fifth, cod liver oil often works like a nutrient team rather than a single ingredient supplement. Biology isn't a gun, it's an orchestra. Where standard fish oil can feel like omega-3 only, cod liver oil feels like omega-3 plus context, because it naturally includes fat-soluble vitamins and sometimes a broader spectrum of minor lipids. People often notice the difference over time, especially if the goal is brain function, vision, and steady energy rather than just inflammation markers. Sixth, Next, there's the gut lining angle, where vitamin A matters more than most people realize. Vitamin A is famous for vision, but it also plays roles in epithelial tissue integrity, basically the inner skin of the body, including the gastrointestinal tract. That doesn't mean cod liver oil magically cures a leaky gut, but it does mean vitamin A is part of the nutritional foundation that helps the gut barrier maintain itself and helps immune signaling in mucosal tissues stay balanced. Seventh, we get to the old pairing that made cod liver oil legendary, vitamin D plus sunshine. Historically, doctors paired cod liver oil with sunlight for children with bone problems long before anyone even knew what vitamin D was. Vitamin D supports calcium and phosphate balance for bone mineralization, immune signaling, and muscle function. Cod liver oil can provide vitamin D, but the amount varies widely by brand and processing, and this is where modern reality needs to be loud. Cod liver oil also contains vitamin A, and vitamin A can be toxic at high doses, especially during pregnancy, and vitamin D can also be harmful in excess. So cod liver oil is not a more is better supplement, it's a dose matters supplement. If you're pregnant, trying to conceive, have liver disease, take blood thinners, have a history of high calcium, or you're already supplementing vitamin A or D, this is something to discuss with a clinician before using regularly. The practical way to think about cod liver oil is simple. Fix the background first. If your diet is heavy in ultra-processed foods and seed oils, omega-3s are trying to renovate a house while someone keeps flooding the basement. Next, choose a reputable cod liver oil with clear labeling of DHA/EPA and vitamins A and D per serving. Avoid mystery doses, start small and consistent rather than mega dosing. And if you prefer food forms, some people eat canned cod liver once in a while to get the full nutrient matrix, though you don't need to chug the oil, because too much fat at once can upset digestion for some people. The real takeaway is that cod liver oil isn't a new miracle. It's an old tool that makes more sense when you view the body like a system. Membranes need the right building blocks. Brains and eyes are DHA-hungry tissues. Mitochondria live and die by membrane quality. Immune function is shaped by nutrient status, and modern diets can quietly skew fat balance for years. So if you've been taking generic fish oil and feeling nothing, it might not be because omega-3s don't work. It might be because you're missing the DHA emphasis, the fat-soluble vitamin context, or you're still drowning the system in competing fats. And if you do one thing after listening to this, do this. Audit your fats. Not just what you add, but what you're accidentally eating every day. Because the brain you want in 5 years is being built out of what you feed it now.